Sophomore QB Tyrone Swoops now has 6 games as a starter under his belt, but his performance on Saturday may have been his best one yet. He finished the night with 416 total yards, 95 of those were on the ground. It makes him the 3rd player in school history to have a game where he passes for 300 yards and rushes for 90. The other 2, Colt McCoy and David Ash. John Harris says it's really been all about the conditioning and the confidence this year that's led to him becoming the breakout star on this offense. As you said, he now has 6 touchdowns through 6 games to his name. And I asked him in a meeting on Friday, why did it take so long to live up to your potential? You waited until your senior year, and he said it really went back to the confidence. He didn't necessarily believe in himself. At one point, even thought about leaving here, thinking maybe he'd get some playing time elsewhere. But he said something just clicked in the spring. He started really working on the conditioning. He said he started going out and running. That started with the mile. And then he said those spring practices with the coaches really whipped him into shape. You know, the coaches will even tell you when they came to the 40 acres, Harris wasn't top of mind. In fact, they didn't really know who he was, but they noticed him in the hallways. Here's a 6'2" guy with great hands. They knew he had a lot of potential. And once they started saying that to Harris, he started believing it. And if you've noticed in these games, Harris is really Swoops' go-to guy. He said that chemistry was formed on the second team when they started working together, and they've just developed this trust, and it really is working out for this offense so far this year. Guys, back to you. Well, as you said, Jonathan Holmes is back tonight, but he is not going to be getting the start. You know, if you saw the concussion happen in that Oklahoma State game, it was so nasty. He later said he didn't remember anything from that game. It ended up taking him out 2 games. He is back, but Coach Rick Barnes told me that he texted him last night and said, you know, I want to see Kendall Yancey get the start, and I want to see Miles Turner get some quality minutes in early. Barnes says he's going to go with Holmes' plan, see how it works, but still expect Jonathan Holmes, their seasoned veteran, to see some serious minutes tonight and contribute once again. Guys, back to you. In sports, pre-game or pre-match press opportunities rarely provide that much controversy, save for maybe professional boxing or wrestling. Arkansas head coach Brett Bielema, though, may have stirred up a little controversy of his own in what would have been an otherwise pretty lame photo op. Bielema may or may not have sent a message to 2 teams and 2 fan bases. 14 years after then Arkansas coach Houston Nutt dropped the universal sign of Longhorn disrespect, another Arkansas coach appears to have done the same. What is your coach doing in this picture?
He's shaking Coach Strong's hand, and he's got his right hand down. Thumbs down for the Longhorn.
Coach says he didn't do a horns down. What do you think?
Well, he's a diplomat, you know, and no, he didn't.
I thought it was great. I knew what he was doing. We all did.
I don't think that everybody in Arkansas right here comes to Texas just to be nice and sociable. I'll say that anyway.
Arkansas sports anchor Aaron Peters took the photo and initially posted it to the internet. What was the reaction when you posted the photo to the internet?
Depends on what state you live in. If you lived in Arkansas, everybody loved it. Everybody loved a little bit of smack talk. If you live in Texas, of course, they find it very disrespectful. I grew up in Oklahoma. I know what Texas fans feel about the horns down. That's why when I saw it, it really caught my eye. I didn't expect the reaction that I got because I got hammered on social media.
While some claim the picture was photoshopped, Peter says it's untouched and there is video evidence as well.
All day the 2 teams had a little gamesmanship going. They've been talking a little smack to each other during the luncheon, so I thought maybe that was part of it. And so maybe Coach B being Coach B, then bam, it went viral, and I'm getting calls from the university, and we're getting calls from everybody. And then next thing I know, you know, the horns down is now a national story.
Now I pressed the coaching staff on that picture. Coach Strong said he wasn't going to give me his answer on that one until game day. I anticipate that was probably the outcome of this one. But leave it to Coach Vance Bedford, the defensive coordinator, to give us the emotional response fans are likely looking for. He said, as a player, it really fires me up. But he respects Bielema firing up the state of Arkansas and the fan base. But as he puts it, if he was playing up in this game, somebody would get hurt. Guys, back to you.
Welcome into Longhorn Extra, everyone. I'm Jane Slater, joined by LHN Hoops analyst Lance Blanks following this one in Ames, and it wasn't pretty at times as Texas picks up their 4th loss in league play despite making that late run. Let's go to the highlights and, in some cases, Lance, the lowlights. Texas visiting Iowa State. Texas has won 11 of the last 14 against ISU. All right, we're going to start with the big guy. We talked about the importance of Miles Turner in this one. He was big early for Texas.
Yeah, things got off to a slow start, but of course, there he turns away from the double team. He was big. They kept going to him, and this was the game plan, and I thought they did it well. But this was not only a blessing, but it was a curse as well. There you see him with the nice up and under move because other guys struggled to get involved. But needless to say, he was big.
All right, he was big. Under 5 minutes and a half, Iowa State would take control. Good ball movement. George Niang, we said he was going to be big, hits the three there. Cyclones up 9. A few possessions later, Cyclones up 7. Abdul Nader hits a cutting Monte Morris for the bucket and the foul. Cyclones up 9 again. Still in the first half, Cyclones up 9. Niang throws up the alley-oop to McKay for the dunk. Texas now down 36-25 at the half. We go to the second half. Cyclones up 14. Bryce DeJean Jones gets away from Kendall Yancey. Sinks the fadeaway jumper.
Close out hard.
A few possessions later, Cyclones still up 16. Javon Felix the wild pass. Yancey tries to save it. Morris comes up with a steal and bucket on the other end. Texas takes the timeout.
We got to score. We start the game. Can't miss a wide open shot. You guys got to have enough guts to want to finish shots. Got it? You understand? We got to stop. They're just doing whatever they want.
Rick Barnes fired up there. Iowa State would continue its control of the game off the defensive rebound. Morris with the get-ahead to McKay for the layup. Cyclones now up 19, Lance. Under 9 minutes left, Cyclones up 18. Morris finds that guy Niang, the big guy, for the layup, for the three, rather.
And over the top all night long, Niang, and they knew it was coming.
All right, here we go. 4:09 left in the game. Cyclones up 14. Great ball movement. Dustin Hogue gets the dunk.
Had that defense spread way out.
All right, you see this. Texas making the run late, under 3 to go, and it was Isaiah Taylor for the layup.
They scare off the game plan and just said, give me the ball and all hands on deck. We can get it done. There you see Holmes keeping them alive.
All right, 21 seconds to go. Holmes again cuts it to 3 with 22 seconds left. Folks, we have got a game now in Ames. Now check this out, down 4. Now Holmes again, can't get it to roll. Iowa State rebounds. Texas fouls. Comes up short. Iowa State wins this one. Heartbreaker, 89-86, Lance.
Yeah, it was too little, too late. But impressive that these guys didn't die after getting punched in the face all night long. Felix with 20 points. Taylor came on late with 17. Everybody gave you something to be excited about, given that they didn't die with what happened most of the night.
Just a little too much too late. All right, with the victory, Iowa State has now won 18 straight games at home. Despite the loss, Texas still won 11 of the last 15 meetings with Cyclones. Iowa State coach Fred Hoiberg improves to 4-5 against Texas in his coaching career, while Texas is now 15-7 against the Cyclones under Rick Barnes. After the game, Holly Rowe caught up with the coach. Javon Felix put up 20 points. It was 4-4 from three-point range to go along with the 8 assists. And we'll get to Holly coming up here in just a bit. But Lance, just want to get your thoughts on this. You know, we thought we had all our questions set for this game. And then the Horns went on to basically have a crazy run, cutting a once 21-point ISU lead to 3 late in the game. Let's start there. What did this late game run tell you about this Texas team?
Well,
Welcome into this Monday edition of Longhorn Extra. I'm Jane Slater, joined by lifetime Longhorns Dave Thomas and Dan Neal. We call this one Upon Further Review. It's a day we go back to the tape and look at what worked and what didn't work in the weekend's previous game. Dave, we're going to go ahead and start with you. What was your initial thought on this one?
Well, Texas showed some improvement, but they're still making too many mistakes. There's so many little things that until they get those corrected, they're going to have a hard time winning. And I've said this before, if you take care of the little things, the big things take care of themselves. And, you know, penalties, fumbling another snap inside the 5, special teams, wasting timeouts. There's just so many little things that add up to a loss.
Dan, your thoughts?
You know, the same thing as David. I mean, they had some good points, but these mistakes keep killing them. So right now you kind of look at this football team, and is this a team that's on the verge of winning or a team that just can't find a way to win? You know, eventually they got to win a football game, or they can go all season being close.
What do you guys think? How close or how far are they away from that?
I think they're close. I mean, I think they're a good football team, making the mistakes that David talked about. I mean, these are just simple things, you know, being smart with the football, not turnovers. Can't spot a team like OU 14 points. If they fix those things, I think they have a chance to win a few more football games.
All right, fans showed a lot of heart in this one, staying through 4 quarters, which hasn't been a trend in this contest, but it's what our photographer Mike Salter caught outside after the game. Charlie Strong greeting the fans and thanking them for their support. Guys, how far does that go for a coach that has now gone 2-4 on the season?
That's huge. I mean, I like Coach Strong. I like his personality. I think he's a good fit here at Texas. But a game like that, especially a loss. I mean, these fans. He needs to get the fans behind him, and I think he's doing that.
You ever seen a coach do that after a loss?
No, you never see a coach out there shaking hands with fans after a loss. I mean, they're usually trying to hide, especially a rivalry game like that. But I think it's big for Charlie just to get out there and get to know the fans. I mean, he hadn't been here very long, and just interacting with them, getting them on his side is going to be big for him.
All right, well, they were this close. Seems to be the theme through the Longhorns' previous contest against ranked teams. Texas led UCLA 10-3 at the half before falling behind in the fourth quarter. Tyrone Swoops connected with John Harris to take the lead with just over 5 minutes left, but it was UCLA who struck last, scoring with 3 minutes to go for the 2017 win there in Dallas. Now, if you saw the Baylor game, you know it was closer than the final score showed. Texas held Baylor, the highest scoring offense in the land, to 0 offensive points through 2.5 quarters. Mistakes would ultimately doom the Horns, though, as Baylor returned a blocked field goal attempt for a touchdown and Texas fumbled the ball at Baylor's 1. They got the loss in that 28-7 one. All right, and in many ways, the Longhorns dominated OU on Saturday, but were again done in by mistakes and special teams. The fact that Texas held Oklahoma to 1 first down in the first half was perhaps the most encouraging. Too bad they allowed OU to 10 times as many first downs. Texas game day analyst Ahmad Brooks was fired up after the game Saturday.
Coach, how are you feeling about signing day so far?
Well, I got up early this morning, and you're just so nervous because you're sitting there and just hoping everything falls your way. And there's a lot of young men that have committed to us, so you're just hoping that we get their name on that paperwork.
You talk about getting here early. We know that you're an avid runner. You got here at 3:50 this morning. How many miles did you log, and what were you thinking about?
I just couldn't sleep. And, you're getting down to the 26 hours. I don't know if there's enough hours in the day to just stay on top of each recruit. So I just lay in there last night, and I just said, you know what, I'm just going to get up and go on in and go to work and get my run in and then just see how the day goes.
Coach, this is your first recruiting class as a head coach here at the University of Texas. A lot of coaches had a lot of their guys committed by their junior year. You waited till the end of the season. Why was that?
Well, what happens a lot of times, you have to wait on some players because they're not concerned about making that early decision. But, there's a lot of ways to do things, and there has been success here doing it that way. So I just thought that with us that we had a lot of guys that we had to place and just wanted to really get a further evaluation on them, just see exactly who they were and what they're all about.
What was the most important aspect in terms of the sort of player you were looking at for Texas?
Well, it's all about just someone who's smart, tough, and dependable. And that's what you're always looking for. And I tell our guys all the time, just give me a guy that's disciplined, a guy that's totally committed, and guys willing to work hard.
Appreciate your time, Coach. Best of luck.
All righty, thank you.
Back to you.
For those of us who've never experienced a concussion, what does it feel like? What's going on?
It is different for all different kinds of concussions. I mean, it depends on what part of your head or what part of your brain receives the blow. Some people can't stop sleeping. Some people will never sleep. Some people can't remember. Some people remember everything just fine. Some people are just really dizzy. It's different. For me, I was dizzy, nauseous, and I had balance issues all the time.
Did you have any anxiety playing this year, knowing what you went through last year?
I thought I'd lick it. I thought I'd overcome it, but I didn't. I thought I was going to come back and pick up right where I left off.
From under center, Ash to take the snap. Snap was fumbled, and then Ash picks it up and is knocked down.
Well, not only hit him, but hit him right in the head. So everybody with a collective deep breath here in the stadium. We all know David Ash's history there, and that's the first hit he's had to take.
Take me through that hit this year.
This year, that's the thing about, part of the reason why the decision was pretty easy to make is what hit, I don't know. It didn't really get hit.
David Ash will not play this week. We're going to evaluate it more with our medical staff, but just knowing this, during the game there was no symptoms. Then we got a call late that night.
You decided to call the coaching staff. Walk me through that decision. What was going on when you went home?
So I leave the game and I'm sitting there feeling off, telling myself, this is This is probably post-traumatic stress. First time back out, you came off a pretty traumatic experience last year, and you just need to let this thing die down and go away and don't make a rash decision. As the night went on, that off feeling started hurting. And then I started feeling dizzy, and then I started doing the balance tests on myself that I'd done so many of them, and my balance was off. And I remember telling my dad, like, well, let's see what it's like